What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to see a short little preview of my Permadeath Fallout New Vegas series, in which I'm taking on some enemies at sniping range with an assault plasma rifle. And I'd like you guys to hit that like and subscribe button, as the support is going to help me line up that shot just a little bit better. So I really appreciate if you do that, and comment to let me know what you think about the gameplay. Anyway, this is just a little excerpt from the series, and prior to this I died, so it's technically invalid for the later part of the series, because if you die you have to reset from Doc Mitchell when you start the game. But the essence of it is that I decided to keep going and practicing a little bit, as if I'm still on the you only live once rules, so I don't allow myself to die. I'm a lot more careful. And the essence of how I died was that I took on a bunch of jackals, and they had a grenade launcher. I had very little armor, and there were more of them, and there was too little range between me and them. So subsequently, one of them shot the grenade launcher. It hit me. I didn't have a lot of health. It totally went through my DT expectedly, and I died. I really thought they'd have 9mm SMGs, 9mm pistols, something stupid like that, like a varmint rifle. But I also thought that the stealth would take them unaware, and I'd be able to sneak attack or crit a few of them and quickly get them, but such is not the case. And it's a good lesson to tell you that you should never really underestimate your enemies in a permadeath playthrough, because there will always be that one instance where something goes awry, and usually you shrug it off like it's no big deal when you're normally playing the game because you just reload. But I like the idea of playing the game as if it's just like real life, except it's not like real life, because you are in a inexplicably deadly world that certain parts of the world nowadays might be like that, of course. But you have death coming at you from nearly every side. Not only do you have situations with violence and trauma, but you also have radiation, you have poison, you have things, survival aspects. So there's a lot going on in the simulation of the game, especially with Fallout 4 in its survival mode, that you have to look out for. And assuming it's just like real life, and if you die, you actually die, it really makes the challenge of it in a self-imposed fashion more fulfilling. And it takes the monotony away from the game because you're on your toes every moment. But anyway, I essentially got to this way with my character by going north from Good Springs, sneaking around the cliffs so that I didn't have to take the long 15 and I could go straight to New Vegas. I went to retcon. I did the stuff at retcon. I got this unique plasma rifle. And then I went into New Vegas after getting the Chinese stealth armor from Hoover Dam, which it's hardly useful actually compared to the Fallout 3 version, but it's still good for aesthetics, I guess, and roleplay a bit, because it's perfect for that kind of stealthy sniper to really look the part. But subsequently, I went to New Vegas. I turned in the quest for Ring-a-Ding-Ding. I turned in the quest for The House Always Wins Part 1. I turned in They Went in That Away, and these gave me enough XP to go up to level 6. So I did a little bit of leveling of my energy weapons, and I did a lot of leveling of my sneak, such that I'd be excellent at sneaking in the daytime. And you could probably have done this at night with even slightly better results, but high sneak is high sneak after all. I did not have, of course, the stealth field of a stealth boy, but in a survival kind of permadeath playthrough, you really want to be able to have stealth boys and stealth fields. An easy permanent way of getting these that is radiant is to gain favor of Caesar's Legion. And even an NCR player, you can just kind of trick the Legion people by giving them dog tags that you stole from NCR guys. And this will allow you to get gifts from Caesar without even having to, do anything against the NCR, really. As far as I remember, that's how you can do it without having to do anything roleplay-wise, like killing them. But suffice to say, in this situation, I have a lot of stealth. I have an assault rifle, and the best part of it, it's not scoped, but I'm using it at a long range, and it's working quite effectively. So I go into sneak attack, and I basically line up the iron sights, I fire, I get in a hit, I run backwards because now they see me, there's some shots being taken at me, but I managed to evade them and get back into caution and stealth and everything. And slowly but surely, by this method, I can pick them off. Now, some of the environments and DLCs, like Lonesome Road, they're not going to have all these advantages for you, like distance. So you have to keep that in mind. Even as flat as Nevada is, you're going to have a variety of places where you're stuck in like a canyon gorge. You might be in the Honest Hearts DLC in the Narrows, for example. So just keep in mind that you're not going to get a good shot like this, typically. But because these are human enemies, they really still don't have a lot of health. I mean, you've got Legate Linnaeus, and you've got maybe some of the Legion guys. If you nuke the Legion and run Lonesome Road, you've got Colonel Royes if you nuke the NCR, and you've got the Marked Men. These are probably the apex of the hardest human units. I mean, the game's typical, like, level 20 maybe, Brotherhood of Steel guys probably aren't even this hard. As far as their durability, it's more just their weapons, like their Gauss rifles and everything that they have in there that's weaponized is effective en masse. But human enemies tend to be the weakest, whereas, like, I usually say Death Claws are the strongest of anything in New Vegas. And the humans, thus, I can take on with, like, a typical plasma rifle like this that gets crits, sneak attack criticals, that take the sum of your critical damage, if you get any critical damage, and your normal damage, and multiply it by 2. So, of course, sneak attacks are really effective. It's sheer luck if you could even get it at this distance outside of VATS, but a headshot would be really nice. And the essence of all of it is that at the end of this, I get the YCS-186, a weapon that is so powerful that it could probably take on any single enemy in one shot with a sneak attack. Uses up, of course, 4 of the microfusion cells with all the related perks. It can get maybe a starting damage of 800 because it uses 4 at once, and that is the target of this because we really want to have high damage for stealth, to just use a lot of ammo, use a lot of microfusion cells, and guarantee to get any enemy we need to from stealth. It's not a quiet weapon, so we need to still run around, skulk after we shoot, and make sure we can exit into other areas so that we survive. There are no guarantees with like a weapon like this, and in VATS, sometimes the Gauss rifle doesn't do hardly any damage for a glitch reason, and in not using VATS, you have the Gauss rifle sometimes miss, even when you think it should hit, by somehow slightly like shooting the ferromagnetic projectile through the armpit of an enemy. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's actually the way it seems to work. And you'll see the little explosion happen behind the enemy. So the first phenomenon is probably a product of the game thinking that you're shooting only like one pellet in VATS. There are a lot of weird VATS mechanics, like if you sneak attack with like a Gatling laser and you do a whole round, each round will get the benefit of the sneak attack, and it'll be much more powerful than outside of VATS. But anyway, I hope this gives you guys like a good kind of preview of what it's like to take on enemies. I like this because unlike my other video, where it's a maximized character taking on everybody, it's kind of a lower level character using a simple low-grade weapon and taking on and winning against some higher level mercenary guys, grouped and well-armed, just versus her. And additionally, I've done this before with a lower level character using a service rifle versus the vertibird crash robots. So If you guys want, I can upload a video like that and just show you guys a good montage of using weapons that are low level and weak comparatively to take on really strong enemies just through skill. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.